So thanks a lot for joining us, Doc. A big breaking news coming in from the Supreme Court. So one, can you quickly tell us about the case and also uh, the PIL that you had filed? So if we can understand about the case for today and the PIL, it would be great for us.
Yeah.
Over to you, Doc.
So first of all, I must say that today is absolutely a historic day for us because this very important case, which was there in the Supreme Court, is now finally decided. This
Yeah.
case is Harish Rana case. He was a young gentleman actually, but he fell down, had a major accident, and has been in vegetative state for literally speaking last more than a decade. And his parents had approached the Supreme Court saying that he should be
Mhm.
allowed to die dignity, because otherwise it is meaningless, to kind of
Right.
keeping him alive is actually meaningless. Now we already have actually speaking a judgment prior to this called as Common Causes versus Union of India, where the Supreme Court has already said that citizens in our country have a right to die with dignity. Passive euthanasia is allowed in our country, and Supreme Court has given us a framework. In this particular case, the main issue was that this particular young gentleman who was in a vegetative condition was not on any ventilatory support. He was not in the hospital.
Okay.
He was at home, but he was being fed by tubes and all that kind of a thing. And the main question that we had to decide, or they had to decide, was whether it is justified even to withdraw his feeding and other things, whether that would amount to passive euthanasia or no. But Supreme
All right.
Court, looking at the whole condition altogether, has kind of allowed that particular thing to happen, which means that he will be able to get the a dignified kind of a death, and the meaningless prolongation of life, actually speaking, will stop. The ordeal will stop. That is what is typically from the Supreme Court what we have come. Of course, the whole order is not yet uploaded, so I can't get into the nitty
Yeah.
gritties of without reading it. But this is what it seems to be. Now you asked me another question about
Your PIL.
my PL,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean my name is linked to this particular cause because I have filed a public interest litigation in the Bombay High Court. So I already mentioned about this Common Causes versus Union of India, and once this judgment came up way back in 2023. I have myself made my own advance directive or living will in which
Okay.
I actually written down, that if I land up into similar kind of a condition like Mr. Rana is,
Okay.
I should not be allowed to, or I should not be made to stay alive on such kinds of supports like ventilators and stuff like that. So that kind of a document I have already made in accordance with the Supreme Court guideline. But you know what? When I made this document and when I realized that I have done my part of the job, that's as a job of a citizen, according to the Supreme Court, there is a framework which the Supreme Court has given where certain things have to be done by the state as well, right?
Okay.
But I found that those things which the state was supposed to do, the state had not done at that point of time. And that is why I had filed this public interest litigation, Nikhil Datar versus State of Maharashtra, Union of India, and including the National Medical Council, which is our medical body, with whom we get our medical registration. So I have made them
Yeah.
also party to this whole thing altogether. And this matter has already been properly heard, and the Supreme and the High Court has already given a verdict on it. High Court has also kind of concluded on the same lines, and High Court has given directions to the state and various other authorities to take appropriate actions.
Okay.
To some extent, there have been certain actions which are taken, which means that appointment of custodians and all that, those kinds of things have already happened. But many things have not yet happened. And you know what? That when we have to have this bureaucratic kind of a machinery, which goes
Yeah.
very slow, because it is bureaucratic. You need sometimes a big body like a Supreme Court or a High Court, to come in and kind of,
Yeah.
give them a kind of a bashing to some extent, if I may call it,
Agree. Agree to that. Yeah.
so that they start working aggressively. So I'm expecting that this particular order by the Supreme Court, where they have kind of laid down specific standards also, in which
Right.
conditions passive euthanasia should be allowed and all that kind of thing, will probably clarify lot of doubts in the minds of the lower judiciary, bureaucrats, even doctors, even hospital, and even relatives,
Yeah.
and ultimately we will be able to achieve the right to die with dignity, as and what has been given to us
Yeah.
by the Supreme Court. I think what we should do, Rahul, is that I mean, I am over flooded with calls from morning because people want to know
I'm sure.
what I feel and what's the situation. So probably putting up this video on our channel might be greatly helpful to those who want to understand. But I think there is a need that we need to have a larger follow-up, a longer follow-up video on this, because in that video probably I'll be able to explain more at length and in details as to why this is important, how you should do it, how it can be done, what all things are currently available, what are
Yeah.
things are not available, but up to what extent can we be ready in terms of making our own living wills and advance directives. So I think we will take that up as a follow up, and that might help a lot of people in our country to solve this particular problem.
Sounds good. Sounds good, doctor. Definitely, we should do a follow up. Even a lot of things to learn as to how to start, and what all things are applicable in this kind of a situation. First of all, thank you for coming online on a short duration and giving us your time and helping us understand both the cases. I hope that we meet soon for a follow up video and help the others understand about the case. So thanks a lot, doctor. We'll definitely catch up soon and
Sure.
we'll meet up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.